What's going on? It's Glendon, founder of Hustlers Kung Fu, all about making that money without a job. Today, we're going to get into something near and dear to my heart. It's called propaganda and how I use propaganda to make money. Wait a minute. Make sure this bad boy is starting up. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. I always got to check. Always got to check. Now, this morning, we had some crazy stuff, right? Because let me tell you the story before I get into the whole deal. I bought these batteries not last August, but the August before last. And they're rechargeable because all this equipment and stuff I have, I tend to go through a lot of batteries. And those rechargeable batteries cost me $16 plus the charger. And normally I would go through $20 worth of batteries a month. So it's a win. Well, apparently when that battery goes, it goes real quick when it gets to that last bar. I thought I had 2 bars. I had 1, and that's why the sound disappeared, because people were just like, hey, there's no sound. They was freaking out. And for those of you who watched the video before, this one, I cut out the part with the dead sound. So you are good to go. Now let's talk about propaganda. Let's talk about uncivilized prophets, how Donald Trump won the election and other stuff. Today, I added not 1, but 2 sections to uncivilized prophets. And if you want to enlighten yourself and you want to learn, because I actually go real deep on some stuff that I do, you can get that link. It's under the video and you can make it happen. And you can start working on your uncivilized prophets today. What's up, Nigel? Going to go to the chat room. What's up, Mommy Motivation? So I see Diana's back. Black and gold. What's up, Carla? What's up, Honey Bunny? What's up, Alicia? What's up, Owning It? Corey B. Oh, really? Okay. What's up, Raquel? Yeah, we're gonna talk about this propaganda. Propaganda is what fake news is built upon, and I want to explain the whole thing to you and how it makes money. Because you ask yourself, how does a fake news website make money? Well, what those fake news websites need an audience, which I keep saying they need an audience. They need somebody that they know is going to be interested in reading what they're putting out. Whether it's true or not does not matter. So typically, for those folks who are just coming in, there's a 30-second delay. So when you start the stream, you start at the beginning. And as more people come into the stream and have session starts, as they're called, you're going to see the beginning. And other people who are in the comments are going to be seeing stuff that you're not seeing. So that's what's going on with that. And more folks are coming in. Let's put out some more folk in. What up? Hello. We got Huntsville, Marcellus T, Crash Test Dummy Pro. What's up? What's up, John Francis? What's up? Hair and Skin. I forget your name. I don't know how to say it. What's up, Corey? What's up, Ronnie? BT Creator, LA Mode. What's up, Patches 301? That's funny. Y'all crack me up. But okay, going back to the whole deals with propaganda. Let's go ahead and take the Tea Party. So there's fake ass news sites that create propaganda or news stories based upon the propaganda that the Tea Party believes in. So they create that content. Then members of the Tea Party or people who like that stuff, they go in and they grab that content, thus scaling up the traffic of the website, which they have ads on the website where they make that money. And so that's how they make money. So, but the thing is, it's not the fake news, it's the audience that appreciates the fake news. I have seen people that I had to say, you know, that's not real, right? And they're like, and then I have to show them and point it out, and they're like, oh, really? I thought it was real. Because typically people post and share with little thought. And speaking of that, be sure to share this stream with someone you care about. Just go ahead and bring them into the family. Man, what's going on here? Y'all got all kinds of stuff going on. stream is moving a little fast today. It's pronounced Kirane. Kirane. Okay, I got you. I'll be in there. Confirmation bias. Infowars is a huge one. Look how much money Alex Jones has made in the last few years. Yeah, because see, the audience. Okay, and this kind of goes back to what I've been saying for the last 3 months about audience. The fake news does not work without the audience. It's like tires don't work without the car. They can be great tires, they can be magnificent tires, but without that vehicle, they don't really work so well. You could just, they have value, but they need that vehicle. So the fake news thing is big, and it's not going to go away, because for the first time in history, the average man has the distribution and reach of the largest newspapers, of the largest television stations. I mean, what you can do right now is crazy. Dub Low Prod, tuning in from Toronto. Are you like from Jamaica? Finally catching in my blood clot. Yeah, I think he's the Jamaican. You told me about a car accident that I thought was real. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just 100% fake. But the thing is, it's all about the audience, right? So you got the audience. And the audience, like, let's take Donald Trump's people. Even they're still like rah. They're still revved up. They're still like ferocious dogs, rah, just doing all that stuff, because they're so passionate about what they believe. Whether what they believe is true or not, it does not matter. Now, it's just one of those things. And let's see. Robert, alt news defeating tradition is the story of the last election. I mean, let's look at it this way, because you've got two choices. You can become very upset at these things that are happening from a standpoint of what's moral, what's right, or you could sit back and go like, how can I use this to push a better agenda? Years ago, I was in a writing group. The dude's name is Brian Nixon, and everybody was talking about Zane. If you don't know who Zane is, like, when I wanted to be a writer the first time, I knew all these cats. I knew all the people who had their books in the bookstores, the fancy people. At one point, if you were a black male writer with some talent, you could get a deal like that. I just wasn't in that position. And we were talking about people, and they were talking about Zane, and they were talking about, what she wrote was porn, and was talking about trash. And I said, well, if you market, because Zane worked her ass off. Let's be really, really clear. She worked her ass off. She went through a lot of stuff, but she worked her ass off. She was one of the first people to get 1 million likes on her Facebook page. She has television shows. She's got an empire. And I remember when she started and what she didn't have. But a lot of people hate on it. I said, if you work like Zane, if you market your business like Zane, and he did, and he was able to quit his job and travel and do book tours for 3 years. And then he got into writing for Tyler Perry and some other stuff. So you look at people, and you forget the technique, because you go like, that's bad, that's horrible. But when you look at the technique, you can learn how you can make money doing what you're doing. So let's see. I'm Jamaican still. Oh, I see. Trump and family staging airline disturbances. I haven't. When I do my research in the morning, I look for policy, because this is the thing that many people don't have. Sun Tzu, the Art of War, banishing of the swords. Right now, there's a lot of banishing of the swords, which is part of propaganda. So this sword is rattling over here, this sword is rattling, this is rattling. But right here, because you're like looking here, like that thing with the gorilla and the bouncing basketballs, and like when I played that, and how many people actually did not see that gorilla. This stuff down here you don't see, and this is the real shit right here. This is the real stuff that's going on, but you're paying attention to all this rattling of the swords. So I look at policy, I look at cabinet picks, and that's why I say, this is kind of looking like business as usual. This isn't looking like drain the swamp. So looking at that, you have to look at the banishing of the swords as propaganda. because that's a lot of propaganda. This is a lot of stuff to keep you distracted, or better yet, to demoralize you where you're just like, fuck it, I ain't paying attention to nothing. That's a win for people who are pushing an agenda that you are opted out and not participating in the American system. You're just like, whatever, I ain't voting. They love that. They love that. Less people they have to deal with. That's funny. I think we had hot wings at the strip club. Last time I went to a strip club was 10, 12 years ago. So I don't know. Possible. Met her last year. Very nice woman. She's super nice. She actually helped a lot of people. Kira Nay, I knew how to say it. And a lot of people hated her. They hated her. I remember. And you know, she dealt with it. She had some issues. At one point she was kind of like really, really touchy because she used to get so much hate. But it's all about learning to discern what's bad and what's good for you. Because like in Uncivilized Prophets, and like I said, I'm going to just to kind of give you a peek of what's to come. First of all, it's a beta mode course, which means you can't go to hustlerskungfulifeskills.com and find it and buy it because you can't find the purchase link because it's hidden. So it's beta, but I'm not just putting stuff to put stuff in there. I am looking for social signals to give you greater clarity on how you can use these principles to make money versus just giving you, quote, theory. And, you know, I waited for a few things that I knew that were coming because I've been watching them all year. So I've got that in there. And then I get down and dirty with how I make money because I use propaganda. I use propaganda all the time based upon audiences. You know, with Uncivilized Prophets, we're going to do a lot of writing. We're going to do a lot of marketing, a lot of content creation and stuff like that, because you have to find the audience and then begin to shape influence. Shaping influence of a group that already halfway believes what you're talking about, it's like pressing a button and a mountain moving. It's like, and that mountain started moving. That's the whole deal. So it's a lot of things. The green industry, biggest propaganda play ever. A lot of stuff's going on with that. Religion, there's a lot of propaganda there. Hey, King James. Let's see. See my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over again for the truth to sink in. Kind of catapult the propaganda. George W. Bush. Make America great again. Get them out of here. Make America great again. Get them out of here. I'm going to tell you something. If you are talking to a person and you adroitly intersect certain phraseologies in the conversation over and over and over again, people will start going down the streets and repeating that, even with no intention. Don't hate the player. Don't hate the game. Learn the fucking rules so you can win. Manage your money, or your money's going to manage you. These are certain things that you create when you create propaganda, because here's the audience, right? This audience right here, they already believe in what you're saying, but this news organization is saying that this news organization. So you got to put your own spin on it. You got to have your special handshake and all that other stuff if you really want to rise to a higher level of propaganda. Because what's happening right now is unprecedented. A lot of things are happening and many people are confused. But the thing is, the confusion is intentional. But if you understand propaganda, because see, the technical definition of propaganda is to push an agenda that's either biased, you know, this is what I think and I'm going to push it hard, or it's completely untrue and it's usually used for politics. But see, the thing is, there's some corporations who are utilizing propaganda. And like I said, in Uncivilized Prophets, I break it down like I've never broken it down before, because when we get to the next stage where I will teach you how to do the content marketing, because here's the whole thing with Uncivilized Prophets. It is not a one-trick pony. You must first find the audience. You must learn what they like. Then you must learn how to communicate with them. Then you must create content. There's layers and layers and layers and layers. And if you do this right, what's that? Is that a printing press? That's a printing press? Wow, look at that. So that's one of the things. Yeah, Broderick, I just put 2 sections in there, and now that Christmas and New Year's is about to be over, and we're about to go hard. There's going to be, like I said the other day, I'm so excited. My nipples are hard. That we got some stuff. I'm telling you, I'm just real excited. We got some stuff that's about to get heated, and propaganda, media companies, creating content, all that stuff's going to be a very important part of this stuff. Pimping Craigslist is propaganda. It's my propaganda. It's my own special sauce, proprietary propaganda. It's good propaganda, because usually when you use the word propaganda, it usually has a negative connotation, and that's when people start like losing it. Is it possible to use propaganda to play the pull and reward and fear trigger at the same time? Absolutely. Make America great again. Did both of that. Propaganda, Michael Jordan quenching his thirst after basketball with Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, probably out of all of the brands, is the most sophisticated with propaganda. I'm going to see if I can find it, because I've studied this stuff and it gets deep, and I know that it works. Cool. If I could, here we go. Let's see. All right. Whoa, what the hell? I didn't mean to do all that. My screen just said, hey, I want to get real big and just completely obliterate everything. All right, let's try that again. All right. Let's see. Is that going to be it? This not really good, because this came out a long time ago. Let's see if I can find better. Here we go. Here we go. I will be showing you some stuff. It's kind of blurred out, but let's present to everybody. Okay. This one, let's see. Visit page. Okay, it's on all right. So I ain't gonna say what it is, but this is a chick, and use your imagination. Let's see if I can find. I'm gonna come out of there, because that's gonna I'm not gonna leave that up too long. But let's see. Coca-Cola was, there's this book that came out, and I read it when I was in like school, like middle school, and it was talking about subliminal messages that brands use using sex and other things, where after you looked at so many photos, this just couldn't have been accidental. It would see it over and over and over. Now, this is how you take information in. You take it at face value. Your mind doesn't go, oh, there's a chick sucking a penis in an ice cube. It doesn't do that. It goes, that looks very enticing. And it gets to the hindbrain, me like, me don't like, and it can influence your behavior. Subliminal marketing was so powerful that it was outlawed by Congress. Start doing your research. I mean, this is so many things that go with this, that the internet has increased to epic proportions. Real Tuts, what's up? Cokes are the master of propaganda. Raquel's like, wow. Disney uses a ton of sex. Disney, here's the thing, the Warner Brother cartoons, they were not designed for children. Like, if you ever watch them, there's always these jokes about the mother-in-law. That's grandma. Kids love grandma. Those cartoons were for adults, because it was a form of propaganda that people put out. It's kind of like when people say, you so fucked up. LOL, you a dumbass. LOL, those cartoons was that same editorial device. It was really interesting. Neuro-linguistic programming. It is deeper than neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming is if I'm talking to you and I see that you have certain patterns, and I'll start matching those patterns, and they'll create reciprocity, and you'll think like I'm family. It's like, I don't know what it is about you. I just feel like we just good like that. You know, there's something special. And I'm just sitting there playing games. This is deeper. This gets into your subliminal conscious and influences you on a subliminal level. It's like sleepwalking. You know, if you've ever known anyone that sleepwalk, they actually do stuff like get up, go downstairs, get food, get in their car, drive somewhere, have conversations with people, and don't remember it. It's like that kind of powerful. So we got all kinds of stuff. What's up, Greg? What's up, Broderick? Joshua, sex, how? Sex, okay. How do I say this? Sex is in virtually, I'll just say it. Why does a little 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old girl needs lipstick on? I'm 50 years old, right? I remember a time when a girl could not put on makeup when she wanted to. Parents would say, you can't get your hair done. You can't wear makeup until you're 15, 16, 17, 18, or in some cases out of the house. Now you have little girls who are going to beauty pageants with all the mascara, the makeup and stuff on. Who does that turn on? It doesn't turn on little boys, because little boys, their testosterone, their nuts haven't dropped, so they don't even care about girls in that manner. Who is that for? Think about it. That's propaganda. Because what happens is you go ahead and you'll take this, like these little girls are doing their little routine and they're doing their little kicks and they're spinning. And when you start to really look at how they're dressing, that's not for little girls. That's for adults. Sex is everywhere. How they say, ooh, propaganda, I done had faith. Rest in peace, George Michael. Let's not force it, people. I get a huge kick out of Warren Brooks as an adult. Holy shit, Alice in Wonderland. This stuff was for adults. I mean, the stuff they did with these cartoons, they had blackface, they had racism. One of the things is, and this is what I've just found, you know, being a voracious reader and just doing a lot of studying over the years, is if you go to the library, because this is really kind of crazy, everything is not on the internet. There's everything. Like when I was doing that, I was looking for a particular book, and you'd probably be hard pressed to find that book because it's so powerful. Because this was before computers and graphic artists. These folks had to airbrush that shit on paper and then do the print ads. So what we can do now digitally, there is software that they can manipulate your lips and voice and have you saying things you don't say, and it looks like you're saying that shit. That's here. Nicholas Bailey, damn, I gotta get my damn life. Why do you have to get your damn life right? That's all right. That's hilarious, man. Isn't that more like conditioning? Very much like conditioning. That's why the subliminal advertising was so powerful. It can have you doing some shit that you normally wouldn't think about doing. Popeye was no joke either. The old school Looney Tunes, Nigel, yes. Charlatan, yes. I can't think of the name, but it was a book that was talking about subliminal advertising. It was Coca-Cola, it was Pepsi, it was cigarette brand. It was a lot of vices had intersected sex with, think about it. If you watch the old movies, what did people do after sex? They had a cigarette. They started drinking after sex. Why? This is propaganda and subliminal marketing that has been done for decades. How come the Jewish community don't go hard against Disney? Because the Jewish community owns Disney. Edward Lewis, the real pimp game is the influent purchasing newspapers. Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post, because they understand the power of media. They understand. This is why. Give you an example. You remember when the President Obama, Barack, sat down with this guy who had a fucking podcast. I'm gonna find that for you, just to show you. Let's see. Obama goes on, guys. I mean, like the president's in this fucking guy's garage. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Is there? Okay, let me show it to you. This is the power of having a media presence. You can get the president of the United States to come to your podcast because his podcast was so popular, and I believe they're in his garage or den or something. But yeah, that's the power of media. Like going to what he was saying, how all these wealthy folks were buying media. This is why, because the internet actually has done something that nothing else has done. Is giving the average man true voice. You have a real voice that you can build, you can collate, you can actually create power with the internet. That's the power of propaganda. I'm logged. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. On my phone, I can see it fine. Bread, black and gold, I drink before sex. A lot of people do. Have you ever wondered why? Think about this. You are, say you're in high school, say you used to do a little bud, used to drink, right? We're going to go party. Someone's bringing the alcohol, someone's bringing the drugs. Why does it take drugs and alcohol to create a party? It wasn't like that in America from the, day one. It wasn't like that in the, it started in the late 1800s when cocaine was in all over the places and people were getting high all the time. This is something that had been indoctrinated that if you're going to party, we need alcohol. I was dating this girl and she got invited to this party and she said it's going to be a dry party because there's kids there. It's like, so let's go. She said, nah, I don't want to go. Because they weren't having alcohol. Lush ass. Really, why Jewish people allow Disney to do that shit? Because they own Disney. Okay. I'm about to get really, really deep here. You know that some slave owners knew that their kids were fucking slaves, right? When you have the power construct, you can denigrate yourself because you have the power to rectify that. Classic example. Your name is whacked ass Wanda and you're poor and you do porn. And it comes out. You're a whore. You're a harlot. You are sin. In person, you're the personification of sin. You did one porn movie. You're Kim Kardashian. You take a big black red J dick on film and it launches your career. Because even though Kim is not white, Kim is assumed to be part of the power structure, so she can do something depraved and it doesn't hurt her. But someone who doesn't have the power structure or the propaganda or the media machine or whatever you want to call it, they do something fucked up, they're fucked for life. This is what I'm talking about, propaganda. We have porn stars getting married quicker, female porn stars who are marrying dudes of means and money quicker than that good little girl out there who's never sucked any strange dick, pretty much only had sex with guys she was in relationships, but this porn star can get a guy that she can never get. That is how our culture has changed. So that's why Disney allows that stuff, because it's not going to hurt them. Let's see. Honey Bunny, the updated version of the next generation are using social media celebrities endorsing products. They don't think flat tummy tea because it's easier to sell crowds who are already buying into reality television. Yep. Greg Williams, the Animaniacs had an episode with the dictators. The Animaniacs said, hey, Mr. Tater, or should I call you Dick, or should I call you Richard? No kid would know that Dick. It's for adults. Yes. You don't need a ring to be engaged. It started from a marketing of propaganda by the De Beers family, which actually shaped apartheid. Apartheid was created as a result of a company trying to get rich, not before. No, I don't know anybody named Byron. Blame it on the alcohol. Propaganda does have hoes winning. Porn stars know how to do it. They're training all the time. It's first of all, it used to, let's go with propaganda and let's go with how society has changed. It used to be when a guy had a woman that was his girl, he did not want to see her with anyone. He didn't want her to have sex with anyone. He wanted her to be his girl. There is a fringe, and I have dirty books about this, and I've researched and talked to people. There's a guy who likes to watch someone else fucking his chick. There are chicks who like to see someone else fucking their dude, and it turns them on. Now, they weren't born like this. This was propaganda. Because when you see like Halle Berry, she does Monsters Ball. You can't tell me that her and I can't think of his name, didn't get down for real. She does that role, which shows degradation. She's just a slut. She's a whore. Soon she gets an Oscar. She gets richer. She gets more roles. So little kids are seeing that if I do that kind of stuff, I get money and appreciation, and they adopt the behavior. That's propaganda. Terrence Garrison, HIV should have changed that, but it hasn't. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's get with some more propaganda. I actually had this conversation with a director of nursing the other day, friend of mine. Here's the deal with HIV. And I've never said this because, this is something I know. For those of you know, I used to work in the lab. I used to work in infectious disease and community health. These are the health organizations that handle those type of things, why people are getting HIV, what communities have HIV. Okay, number one risk group, white gay males. Number two risk group, gay black males. Number three risk group, gay Hispanic males. Number four risk group, bisexual males. Number five risk group, Black women. Number six risk group, prostitutes. Now, wait a minute. Let's talk about this. Number six is prostitutes. People who have sex for money are six on the list versus number one. See, there's this false presumption that if you have a whole bunch of sex, you're going to catch HIV. Okay. I'm going to use my phone here. All right. This phone right here is a risk pool. These are the borders. So if you fuck all day long in this risk pool and never go outside this risk pool, and the people in this pool never fuck anyone else outside this pool, your chances of getting HIV are fucking impossible. Okay, here's something else. Look it up. If you're a man and you fuck a woman with HIV, it is harder for her to give it to you than it is for you to give it to her. So you could actually fuck a woman with HIV and more than likely not get it. Also, there's HLV 1, 2, 3, 4. The predominant version in Africa is 4. The predominant version in America is 3. The 4 infects heterosexual people much readily than 3. 3 is tougher to get if you're heterosexual. So if you are just primarily fucking chicks who fuck other men who don't fuck men, your chances of getting HIV are so damn slim, it's ridiculous. But, and I'm gonna go ahead something else with you. How many of you have in the comments have seen HIV medication billboards? Now, when you see these billboards, where do you see them? I used to do this for a living. I used to actually work with HIV patients. I used to work with the doctors, and there's not an American study. There's a Dutch study that says the only correlation between diversion groups or races or whatever is social economic status. So if you fuck around with a bunch of well-to-do people, chances of getting HIV, because a lot of them are not having sex, they're not part of those 6 risk groups, high risk groups. I mean, that's just it. So let's see. So that's one of the reasons, because you keep hearing that anyone can get it, but you keep seeing the same people who are getting it. And there was an emergence in an uprising in HIV because a lot of young gay males thought there was a cure. So they started exhibiting risky behavior. Same risk groups. And the whole thing with black women, they went to 5 cities that had high HIV high HIV rates, and they found that they had high. It's like going to the beach and being surprised at finding sand. That study was so flawed. But once again, I used to work in healthcare. I know the propaganda. Let's see. Did anyone run? They're gonna come get you. What do you mean? I never ran across these chicks ever. What chicks? Billy Bob Thornton. Thank you. I wouldn't mind my lady boning another guy if it wasn't for the risk of disease and maybe pregnancy. Here's another one that's less salacious than the HIV thing. There are people who've had lung transplants who still smoke. You cannot change human behavior because it's a good thing. They need to have an even more compelling reason. HIV should be cured, but I guess you lose money from that. And once again, look who's impacted by this stuff the most. Look who's impacted. Honey Bunny, same thing for the amount of people now in the LGBT community. I don't think half of them would be there if it was not for a certain agenda. Yeah, because it used to be gay males, it used to be lesbians. Those two groups were not a coalition. Gay women wouldn't hang out with gay dudes like they do now. Back in the day, they just didn't. They were completely separate. Yeah, I'm telling you. The HIV propaganda has been highly ineffective because a lot of people aren't stupid. Well, a lot of people, okay, here's the thing, and this is a question. When I used to work in healthcare, I used to hear certain things, and I was like, anybody that's been to college, you know how everybody that had a roommate in college who fucked someone, a dude or a chick in the next bunk while you were asleep, raise your hand. All right, everybody's fucking. There is no black people fuck more than white people. No. Behavior is the same across the board. Why are there different outcomes? And it always comes back to money and economics. Always. French purge rubber, use it. That's true. My mom said her friend died of HIV because the lady's husband was on the down low. I mean, let's, and this may get this video taken down because typically one of the things that happened, and Sister Soldier talked about this in the coldest winter ever. There was this paragraph where this dude that got out of jail and he was getting his dick sucked by crackheads and talking about, I just like my dick sucked by dudes. I'm not gay. They just have stronger jaws. I was just like, what the? I mean, I read that paragraph in that book and I was just like, fuck, that's real. So you got a lot of dudes who were not gay or maybe had tendencies. They go in jail and they like that behavior. Hindbrain, oh, me like, me don't like. They take that behavior outside the jail. They do it in shame, and they become highly high risk category. I mean, it's just sad, but yeah. Terrence, I see them on MARTA trains, which irritates me. It's really sad that people no longer value relationships, especially the younger generation. I was viewed as a negative for posting things on Facebook that said, stop being a follower and think. It's a bigger problem. The Dutch do a lot of shit differently, a lot better, I think. College, the biggest propaganda ever. My roommate didn't. I'm gonna tell y'all a dirty story in a minute since we just hanging out like peeps. Edward Lewis, what are your thoughts of skin whitening product propaganda in third world countries? Do you think that these self-hating mindsets will change anytime soon? No. And this propaganda didn't start in the third world countries. It started in the first world country. There are Asian women who are taking a slant out of their eyes to appear more Caucasian. It's just not those poor brown people. It is Asians. It is a lot of folks who are afflicted by this stuff. And it comes from the first world and it filters out. It does not, the third world didn't just come up with this shit on their own. They did not like each other. I lived in San Francisco during the early 80s. They avoided each other. Yes, they did. That's why I keep saying I'm 50, because some of you guys are like teenagers, some of you are 20. I have lived long enough to actually see these things and know of these things from a personal experience. And the change is good, and the fact that they do hang out and work together is good. But I remember they used to hate each other. I would think college is the ultimate propaganda. Go to school, get a degree, you'll be good. It's not true. I would say that's true. Religion is partly to blame for the download lifestyle. I mean, seriously, like when I do my dirty books, I do real research. I talk to real people. The shit that I've learned will blow your fucking mind. Also, when I was in the storage auction business, I bought this unit of a Dom that had Polaroids, had his journals, he had all kinds of shit in there. Human nature is always curious. What's up, Benjamin? Terrence, I wish Asian women would stay Asian because they're sexy. I wish African women would stay dark because they're sexy. Uh, I don't think you have to really worry about that, Terrence. There's a huge natural hair care movement that has just grown exponentially over the last 5 years, and it just continues to grow. So I don't think you have to worry about, running out of sisters and Asians. I don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of people who are very happy looking the way that they look, and they're not going to change a thing. They're not going to change it at all. But all right, here's the dirty story. I was in the military, and when you're young, you only care about a few things: pussy, money, and cars, or pussy, cars, and money, or it's usually those three. And I was in this room, and there was three of us, and all of us had girlfriends. And what we would do, and anybody was in the military, those big old lockers, we had pushed those lockers where we can open up the doors and create our own little condos, as one of my platoon sergeants says, like, Cam over here in the condo, Cam over here in the condo. I hated that motherfucker. I hated Sergeant McMillan. I hated that motherfucker. And he and Alonzo, my roomie, were close, but Alonzo knew I hated him, and he didn't get into it. So we weren't supposed to have girls in the barracks. So I'm over there with Lisa, my girl, and Alonzo and McMillan comes over there. Cam over there in his condo. I should go there and talk to him. And Alonzo, at least he represented, said, "Nah, man, he was sick last night." Yeah, I was just like, "That's my dude." He was like Switzerland between us two. But I remember times that all three of us had chicks in there, and we were going hard. I mean, you hear, "Oh, daddy, oh, daddy." Fuck it. When you're a kid, you don't care. You don't care. I mean, yeah, it was guilty because it was just so hard to get pussy to begin with, that when you had your chance, you weren't going to let something like a roommate in the next bed stop you. Only everybody should be proud of who they are. I don't understand people wanting to be what they are not. Propaganda is a huge part of this. It's a huge part. That's why it's so powerful. And if you use it correctly, you can make a lot of money and not harm anybody. Ronnie, it was nice to meet y'all. They're gonna let you do another video. That's funny. That's hilarious, man. But no, this is the kind of stuff that I'm saying. And you think this is crazy, you should see what's coming in Uncivilized Prophets, because I will put in the audience building mechanism that I use to write the dirty books, because I'm writing some more. And it's a certain thing, because there's two things. You can write the books for folks who want to live in a fantasy, but nothing compares to real life. Nothing compares to those real experiences and stuff. Let's see, Terrence, it looks like you're in A. Provide your opinion on male to female ratio propaganda. I had a ratio 17-1, but it seems like it's more 3-1. From a statistical standpoint, women around in the United States, black, white, whatever, typically it's 3-1. 2 point something to 3-1. That's the real ratio. Now, once you start to use propaganda for that single male with no kids, never been married, and a $200,000 a year job, it is like 1-30 or 1-50 or 1-100. See, when they have those conversations, they're not talking about Joe, the guy that works at the Civic Center, or Bill, the guy that works for MARTA, or Tommy, the guy that's an orderly at the hospital. They're not talking about him. They're talking about that motherfucking dude, the guy with money, looks, great sex. Yeah, he's rare as a motherfucker. He's rare as hen's teeth. That's what's, yeah, so it's definitely propaganda. I mean, it's just funny. But typically, When you key in to the audience, your results are, matter of fact, maybe I think I could show it to you. See, we got visual aids up in here because I actually do stuff. I'm not sitting here giving you just theory. I'm giving you shit that I'm really doing. I'm going to actually give you a great example of this. Yep. Okay. So let's see. It's up. Hold on. Let me get you into the magic room. Let's bring you into the VIP section. All right. All right. So we'll look at this. And this list has 390. What I did is ConvertKit. They gave me like a free month. They woo me back. So I took all of the people that I deleted from the original list and I put them on this list. So you see the open rates, right? You see the click rates. Okay, hold on a second. Like I said, I'm starting all over. I don't really care. I'll show you the real deal versus, I don't want them to see this because they'll think less of me. They will think that perhaps I'm not the man. I am the man. I am the man. I'm the man every day. No, I haven't been drinking today. Not yet, but it could be happening very soon. All right. So, all right. So you'll look at this. You'll see the open rates and you'll see the click-through rates, right? This is much smaller, but look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Better engagement. There's actually more action on this smaller list than it is on this big list. Now, a lot of internet marketers won't show you this shit and they won't tell you this shit because I've seen people when they're doing presentations and they let some slip and I see their slide and I'm like, whoa, that open rate's horrible because there's not real engagement. So this is a much bigger list, but the engagement's not there. This is a smaller list. It grows a little bit every day. And whenever I send out some, people don't unsubscribe, like this list. So that's to show you the power of speaking to an audience. It makes a huge, huge difference. And that's something that I learned when I was working on some of my other projects. It's not how big the list it is, it's how engaged the list is. People are loving that story. Let's see. Amina, what were you thinking about signing up for? I'm going to do a lot with Instagram, but I'm not doing it right now because I had to figure out a consistent theme across everything. There's some stuff coming up. It's going to be Instagram going to be blowing up like you won't believe with some of the stuff that we've got planned. But typically, propaganda is very powerful with the right audience because I'm immune to a lot of stuff because I know how my subconscious mind works and I just don't consume a lot of stuff. I actually take sometimes a week off of Facebook. I will disappear on Facebook and just go, will not do it because those little likes and those little actions, they create psychological rewards for you. So you can become addicted to Facebook and that's good for Facebook. Not necessarily good for you, but that's good for Facebook. And you can become a drone or a mutant or something and not even know it. I think 12 years of school are the biggest propaganda. Used to be people went from first to high school and then college used to be like 2 years. It wasn't 4-year degrees. That's don't correct. I think it was 2 years. I take 3-month breaks from Facebook. Facebook's is nuts. Well, if you stay on Facebook, you will have Facebook will have you thinking, which is a form of propaganda, that the world is crazy. After the election and people were like going off online and pouring their hearts out, and I went out the next day and I'm really aware, and I noticed that nobody treated me any differently than they did the day before or the year before or the week before. No, nobody treated me any differently. The establishments I went to, the service was the same, which is good. Nothing happened. But if you spend all your time on Facebook, the world is going to end. Oh, fuck you. White people are the devil. Black folks are the devil. Jews are the devil. And then you hang out in your tea party or your Facebook group where all of you are so myopic on that one thing, then yeah, you'll begin to act and think like the sky is falling. It'll happen really, really easily. I get so much done when I take a break. It will waste a lot of time. Terrence, can you talk about using Facebook to make money? I am not really up on Facebook with making money. I made a conscious decision not to do live streaming on Facebook right now because what Facebook giveth, they take it away. And once again, what I'm teaching you is about audience. I have a Facebook page that's not a lot of, it's not a course. It's this person likes this person likes this. So everybody doesn't like the same thing. I decided to build an audience here because I had more juice to begin with. But Facebook, you can make a lot of money on it, but I'm not doing that. We'll talk about that later. How do you impact your subconscious mind and train your subconscious mind? Number one, you have to be very careful what you consume mentally. This is why, you know, porn is great, but if you want to have normal sexual relationships, you need to cut way down on the porn. Porn has some guys thinking that fake titties are real. I had this guy argue with me. I used to work in healthcare. I can spot fake titties. I don't care what the hell she's wearing. They just have way more lift than natural titties. I've seen a lot of titties, you know, I'm a titty connoisseur, and they ain't real. Yeah, she got the receipt, but they're not real. So this false presumption of what most women aren't, and they're looking at this regular girl who's nice, and they're not getting excited because they're looking for the fake titties. And the fake responses, all that stuff in porn is orchestrated. It's not real. So they're looking for a real experience based off fake shit and wonder why they are unhappy. There are young guys who can't get hard because they watch too much porn. I mean, I'm not kidding. Look it up. Look it up. I have a separate Facebook for business only, no friends. I read the book. I mean, that's a great book right there. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's an awesome book. I've recommended it for years. Want to learn how to spy, be nosy, join Facebook. I like to see a video showing how your courses work. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand. Like, I've actually done, like, put up a part of a course, and it really didn't do anything for sales. It was real interesting. So if that's what you're talking about, it's probably not going to happen. Greg, that's why I stopped watching news on TV. It seems to show 90% negative in content, 10% positive. Watching the news can actually make you depressed. I did makeup on a set for Once It's So stage. Amina's got a history here. She's been on a porn stage. You know, that'll make you like a celebrity around a lot of dudes. Fake titties are nice. Natural titties are nice. See, Terrence is an equal opportunity titty guy. A run through on your course, like, you mean me going through telling you how to do it for free? No. God's this man invention to discipline the subconscious mind. Nobody has ever gone to get a refund for a fake titty experience. You know what? I think you guys are right there. I think y'all are 100% on that. I can't dispute that. Bro erotica is coming. See, what you want is me to actually run you through the course without you having to pay for it. I mean, that's kind of what I'm kind of getting, and I'm not doing that because, once again, how I got impacted by propaganda. 2009 up to around 12, 13, I did my own thing. And I mean, I've had years I did 7 figures. So me wanting to improve stuff, because I'm a progressive guy, right? I started joining these Facebook groups. I started doing this stuff and using the information that was in these groups and listening to podcasts. I gave away powerful courses for free. Courses that are proven to make money. Ran people, did free webinars, got on the phone, talked to hundreds of people. My money went down. People don't fucking appreciate free. They just don't. So I know where you're going with that, and I'm not doing it anymore because I'm like, I stopped listening to other folks and I went back to doing it the G-verse style, and my money went back up. So there's a lesson in there if you were listening. There was a lesson in there. it just did is no. That stuff, because I see people promoting that, and then they kind of force everyone else to do it. And then I decided that I had to be greater than that. I had to do something different, like a daily show full of relevant content, life experiences on, and have people in the comments talking about, I've got that course and I'm making money. I bought that course and I'm doing stuff I never did before. That's how I'm moving this needle. I am not doing that shit with that they talk about online anymore. It did not work for me, and it pissed me off, because that's that one of that list that I showed you. That's why that list is so bad, because most of those people got shit for free and they don't appreciate the content. They never even cracked open the content, and it just doesn't work. And then I have somebody pay me like 10 G's and treat me with the utmost respect. So yeah, we ain't doing no more of that stuff. Let's see. Use Carrie Fisher's death. I'm gonna say no on that, because the Rogue One is so good that we got two lightsabers up in here, stormtroopers, and it had nothing to do with Carrie Fisher's death. I think maybe that would have sold a little bit more, because the movie was so good, they were selling a ton of stuff. I think true Star Wars fans are going to be really sad that she's gone, and they may buy some memorabilia for her, but they don't, no, they ain't have, they don't have to. They really don't have to. They've built a machine, and that's Disney that owns Lucasfilms now, if you didn't know. You train the mind through rituals, Will Cleveland, repetition, condition, environment. Nigel and Greg. Oh no, it's like you have homework. Okay, I'm gonna show you something, because I'm not gonna go through it. Yeah, there's the new stuff. Here's the thing with creating courses, and a lot of folks won't tell you. I don't care how much money people pay you. A lot of folks won't do them. They just won't. They'll sign up, pay the money. They won't ask for refunds either. It's the strangest thing, and I have not figured it out in 6 years. Um, the new stuff will have homework. 30 days to 2,500 has tasks for every day, so that's homework. And everybody who takes the course and does the work gets results. But people who bitch and moan, I sit down and talk to them. Oh, I didn't do that. Well, I skipped those 5 steps. They were important, motherfucker. They were important. Oh, yeah. Okay. I had a moment. I've had these conversations. So, yeah, there's homework. Let's put it this way: pick any course you want and do it, and show me that you did the work. And if it doesn't do anything for you, I'll give you all your money back. No risk. Do that. So that should pull away all that, the hesitancy. If you want to know what's next, like, okay, with the newer stuff, I'm going to do a lot more than I ever did before, because I've got more information and I've got a better structure, because all of the stuff that I'm doing, and I keep mentioning audience for a reason. Audience is very, very important. And I mean, audience, I give you a classic example for most of the dudes to pick up on. How many dudes here have found it that it's much easier dating a woman that really, really likes you? It's much easier getting sex from a woman that really, really likes you. It's much easier getting a meal cooked from a woman that really, really likes you. Your audience, that woman is invested in you, and it's just way easier. Well, if you have an audience that really likes what you're doing and you have a product, they will throw money at you. They'll be like, look, look, when you gonna put something out so I can take my money? Take my money, man. That's what you want. This other stuff is just too hard. Left the money on the table. Appreciate the G-verse. As a salesman, attracting people that want stuff for free is a waste of time. I learned that. I mean, I listen to some people, and one of the things I'll do, even though I have my preconceived notions, I'll go out and try something. And if I'm wrong, I'll say, hey, I'm wrong. And then sometimes I'm wrong, but on that one, I was just saying, you're a dumbass. Honey Bunny, Glendon has made me money over the years. This stuff works. Just try a course or buy a product, something in there will work. I have some original Star Wars dolls. Thanks, Honey Bunny. Joshua, how can Black people start owning major media studios like the Jewish community? Simple. One black person actually goes out and starts one, and then another one starts one, and another one starts one, and another one starts. There is no collective committee on starting these businesses. One of the biggest problems is you have a lot of people who've never started a business talk about entrepreneurship. You have people who've never hired anyone talk about entrepreneurship. You have people who've never made a fucking dollar online talking about how to make money online. There's too much of that shit going on, and a lot of these people are credentialed and vetted, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So by you going out and starting your business and teaching your kids, because this is going to be a generational process. This isn't going to happen in 5, 6, 7 years. This is like a 30, 40, 50-year deal. And I think it's going to happen because there are so many people who are progressive, who are doing it. Now, on it, that could be true. How much for the course? Which course? If you're talking about uncivilized profits, it's $250. But paying full price for their self-produced films. I don't know anything about JV Zoo. One of my things is if I don't know anything about it or I don't mess with it, I don't really comment on it because there's so much false information online anyway, and I don't refuse to contribute to it. What I do know is they've been around a long time, so they got to be doing something. Lois, that's why I fool with you. Keep it real. Tyler Perry, you're funny. Pauline, step 1, buy a course. Step 2, be prepared to work. Step 3, do the work. Step 4, re-listen to the course 4 or 5 times because there's so much information in there. And that is what's on the first page if you buy the power pack. Thank you, Pauline. I appreciate that. Tyler Perry start. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. With Tyler Perry, and you'll hear him talk about it. His first play, no one showed up. His second play, not that many. He went bankrupt trying to do this. See, what Tyler did is the epitome of propaganda. He created Medea, who a lot of people love. I don't care if you don't like that type of entertainment. There's a lot of people who love Medea. And he created his own economy. He literally created his own audience, person by person by person by person. It didn't happen in a year, didn't happen in 2 years. Then, wow, all of a sudden he's buying Fort McPherson and he's telling movie studios what he's going to do. He did the work. I mean, the man worked incredibly hard. And a lot of people like to make fun of him because they don't like Medea. Is Medea my type of entertainment? No, I don't watch it. But respect, Tyler Perry, because you did something that 99.998% of the humans on this planet will never do, which is to create a life that you love and enjoy and that pays you very well. That's respect. I mean, you just, when I hear people hating on these folks, it's just jealousy. It's not real hate. Nicholas, all right, so I'm pretty much one of those guys who studied the game and knows what to do, but hadn't started a business. How do I build a team to make it happen? You get started and get some money going. You got to get started. Dub Low Prod. I'm a music producer and I want to start selling my beats online in the new year. Which course would you recommend? 30 days to 2,500. We had someone, AKW Beats, this morning who talked about how Uncivilized Profits helped him sell beats online. I don't think he's here tonight, but he said it helped him tremendously because you got to find an audience for people who are going to buy your beats. So I would say 30 days to 2,500 or Uncivilized Profits. Pretty much, Terrence. Edwards, do you think different ethnic groups starting their own banks will ever work nationwide? Okay, I'm gonna tell you something about this. First of all, it takes about 15 million to start a bank. And also, that's money that has to be invested that you're not gonna get an immediate return. I have a friend who started a bank, Metro Bank here in Atlanta. And he told me the whole process and how him and 15 investors put $1 million in each in what they're doing with banking. The people got to get the money first. And that's kind of, you got so many folks who are just trying to survive. They're not seeing that I'm going to take $1 million of my hard-earned money, put this in the bank, and get a return 20 years later. They ain't trying to hear that, man. They ain't trying to hear that. So, all right, where are we with this? Holy moly. Okay, we're good. And I still got sound. As you can tell, these streams have gotten a lot different. I'm clowning more. I have props, I have visual aids. There'll be more of that as we go forward, because what I'm doing is letting this thing develop itself. I'm not trying to push it, I'm trying to let it develop itself. So with that, for those of you who want to learn more about propaganda, audience, developing audiences, how to use what people think to make money, grab yourself a copy of Uncivilized Profits. It is directly under the video. Be sure to share this video with someone you like. Be sure to like it. And if you're not subscribed, do that too. All right, so that's it. Be sure to get that. And with that, I'm out.